Brad, what was the story with Sullinger tonight? Was his hand bothering him? He didn't play a lot tonight.
No, he was. He had IVs this morning. Didn't go through walkthrough. He was sick. So he tried to give it a go. I thought he played with pretty decent effort, but I didn't think he looked the same. I think we all probably agree with that.
And Rondo didn't seem to be himself tonight as far as dishing out a lot of assists tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it was they were active on him. They were aggressive on him. He shot the ball well again, which was really good. And the other thing is that they converge quickly. So it's usually the pass after the pass that ends up giving you a look, and that's the thing that obviously we didn't make enough of it. We didn't shoot the ball very well, especially in the first quarter. I don't know where we were, but it felt like we were under 30%.
Your starters didn't have an assist in the first half.
Yeah.
Is that more of what you were talking about, just the way they came in?
Yeah, I just thought our bench was better than our starters in the first half. Thought our starters played well out of the gate in the third quarter, and then did some really good things. But I thought they just struggled out of the gate in the first half. But those guys, no matter who they have, they put a lot of pressure on you. And the way that they move the ball, I said this before the game, it's basketball the way basketball should be played. And it's really a pleasure to watch, unless you're coaching against it.
What changed for you guys in the second half with Duncan? 2 points in the first half, 23 in the second.
Well, he changed. I mean, he went back to being really aggressive on the blocks. I thought in the first half we did a pretty good job on the couple of catches that he did have down on the block. But he kind of put it on his shoulders that he wasn't going to be denied. And we don't have great matchups for him. There's not many great matchups for him when he's going like that in the NBA or the world. But we tried just about everybody that could try, and he still scored in the post. And that's what great players do, and hats off to him for doing that.
Brad, Kelly Olynyk, another double-double tonight for him. Can you just talk about the strides he's made in recent weeks as far as his consistency and overall?
He's starting to get a good feel for, there's a base offense, there's a set offense, and then there's playing in space and understanding and picking where your opportunities are when you have those kind of structured but unstructured opportunities. And he's really starting to figure that out. On all the pick and rolls where he's playing off, whether he's rolling, whether he's picking and popping, whether he's playing in the seam, and then when he catches, where does he go from there? Does he drive it? Does he pass it? Does he go into handoffs? He's got a really good feel for the game, and he's starting to really pick up where people are around him, which is opening up opportunities for himself and others. And then I think defensively, he's just been more aggressive to the ball, and I think that's part of his rebounding is just purely going after the basketball and not just being a guy that gets his guy off.
Brad, how do you look at the last 2 weeks going into the All-Star break, and what do you want your guys thinking about?
Well, I want them to get rest. I want them to get, if they're dinged up, I want them to get healthy. I want them to feel good when Monday rolls around. Or Tuesday rolls around, but at the same time, I want them to, continue to think about what makes us good and what makes it when we're not as good. And so we'll hammer that back at practice when we get back together. But I think we've made some strides. There's no question about it. Young guys, especially, have really had great moments in the past 2 weeks. Kelly's been a lot more consistent. Sully until today, which obviously being sick, I kind of expected that. Chris Johnson obviously has been a great addition, and I think that we've got a lot to build on from there.
Brad, kind of piggyback to the first question. How would you summarize the first half? 19-35, you started 12-14, and you lost 23 or 19-23, and now kind of make a little comeback before the break.
Well, part of it, I'm trying to be. You always try to be in this position fair in assessing how well you were playing versus who you were playing. And, January was a tough stretch for us. January was probably going to be a tough stretch anyways, and especially with, the movement, the teams we were playing. So I didn't think that we were quite as bad as we played. We had a couple opportunities to win games that were close, both on the road and home. We didn't get that done. And you kind of felt like we might be able to win a couple of those if we shore up some things. We've shored them up for the most part in the last 4 out of 6 games, but tonight they just, we made too many errors, and I thought that they just expose you when you do that. They just pick you apart, to be honest. And they did that again. They did it both times we played them.
Coach, you mentioned that, in January, some of the movement that was affected the team. Now you go on a 2-week road trip that includes the trade deadline. How do you hope that this team will be able to kind of tackle that West Coast swing, knowing that that Thursday is going to be a day where there's going to be a lot of rumors flying around?
Yeah, I've never lived it, so it's hard for me to say. I think obviously you control what you can control, and you take it from there. I'm looking forward to the road trip. I think it'll be a great challenge for us. Obviously, Phoenix is one of the hotter teams in the league, been playing great all year, and so we'll have our hands full right out of the gate. We'll prepare for that as it comes. But I'm not looking as much at the week as I am at the one game at a time, and then really one day at a time. Throughout the rest of the year, whether it's a trade deadline or not.
Coach, the last 2 games, Rondo has set career high for made 3-pointers in each game. You've talked before about him improving as a shooter. Is that 3-point threat something you expect to see out of him consistently, and how much does that change how teams have to guard him in the future?
Well, I don't know if they'll change or not. I think teams are set in their ways and probably have a way that they want to best guard people, but some teams have elected that don't usually go under to go under. These guys weren't doing that as much tonight. They did a little bit, but they went over a lot of his screens, and he made some pull-ups in transition as a result, and he also made it off of a kick out, I think, in the first half. He's a better shooter than he's shot percentage-wise over the last couple of years, and that might be misleading you because I'm not exactly sure what he shot years past, but knowing what he shot last year. He's put in a lot of time to become better. He can shoot it off the pull-up, he can shoot it off the catch, and he's got to continue to shoot the ball well for him to be the best that he can be, and for us to be the best that we can be. I mean, we talked about it earlier. We need more 3-point threats from the standpoint of guys willing to step up and shoot those and make those. And so hopefully that's a sign of good things to come.
So is that something where you want him to shoot more in maybe areas where he didn't before, like the pull-ups in transition?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Brad, you won't be home until after the trade deadline. Do you think this team will look different when you come back? And do you think it should look different? Do you think there should be trades made?
I don't. Those are hard questions to answer. I don't know either way. I think at the end of the day, that's why I'm the coach and somebody else is doing that, and that's probably good. But I think what I'm going to do is focus on the guys we have, and if that changes, then I'll focus on whoever else is here. But I've tried not to get caught up in all of the talk as well, because it's distracting for everybody to hear those rumors and names. And so I think one of the things we have to do again is understand what's substantial and what's not, and and realize that probably 90% of what's out there, maybe more, is not. So we just have to, focus on what we can control and move forward. And again, I don't know if there, will be, should be, whatever the case may be. I do know that we have to get better as a team to make the progress that I think we need to make.
Another question here.
Coach, Rondo, going back to Rondo, being able to shoot up the catch, which is something that generally hasn't done most of his career, is that really important for him individually and for the entire offense, being able to take the ball out of his hands or survive taking the ball out of his hands because he remains a threat?
Yeah, I think that's for anybody. I think anybody that's standing along the perimeter needs to be able to shoot up the catch, because it's that forces some commitment on the defender's part. And it's not unique for point guards to not be as comfortable shooting off the catch. He is a very good shooter off the catch, but I think he's worked hard on it to become that. But, you know, I had point guards that were younger, and a lot of them, when they came to me at 18 years old, and had the ball in their hands their whole life, they weren't used to shooting off the catch. They're used to shooting with a rhythm off of a dribble. And so, you know, he's obviously got that nice rhythm pull up in transition. You know, and I think he's you know, again, I think he can play off of other people. So he's got a lot of positives to his shot. He's putting in the work, and so I think he'll continue to shoot it in.
Thanks, Coach.